Today, I want to talk about a topic that affects far more people than most of us realize. What happens when you're the daughter of a narcissistic father? Hi, my name is Michele Paradise, and welcome back to my channel. Thank you very much, or welcome to my channel for the first time. If you are a subscriber, please hit the notification button so you don't miss any of my future videos. And if you're new to my channel, please hit the subscribe button so you don't miss any of my videos. I bring together evidence-based information coupled with my own personal experiences to help you navigate the most important relationship in your life, which is the one with yourself. And this one today is really very personal to me because I'm the daughter of a narcissistic father. So let's get started. If your father was unpredictable, impossible to please, emotionally explosive, or obsessed with being respected, this will make sense. Many of my clients grew up thinking, maybe I'm too sensitive. That was definitely me. Maybe I am the problem. But once we break down this pattern, everything becomes clear. So let's talk about the emotional impact, the psychological fallout, and the invisible father wound that so many adults carry into their relationships today. A narcissistic father is emotionally undeveloped, arrested development, if you like. This is not about intelligence. My father was very intelligent, or capability. He was very capable. It is about maturity. His world revolves around three things. Number one, his own needs for any narcissistic father. Number two, how he's perceived by others. And number three, being respected by his family. Paramount, absolutely paramount. And here's where it becomes painful. He does not understand the difference between respect and obedience. To him, respect means doing what he wants, how he wants, without question. My father used to say, do as I say, not as I do. So what that means, I'm sure you understand it, is I had to follow his rules even if he was doing something opposite to that. And I remember he smoked. And while he was smoking, he would look at me and say, don't ever smoke, it's bad for your health. So what do you think I did when I grew up? I started to smoke, which I'm happy to say I don't anymore. But that's how confusing it is for the child, because children are watching more than they're listening. They're modeling behavior. So your needs, your perspectives, or your emotions were never on equal footing with his ego. No one ever asked me how I was, what I thought, how I felt, what I wanted to do. Especially not my father. A narcissistic father lacks fundamental emotional skills. Emotional regulation, conflict resolution, no, wasn't on the table. The ability to attune to others. Now, I just want to stop here for a moment because it may sound like I'm bashing my father, but I'm not. Because as I got older, I began to learn about his childhood developmental trauma, his lack of attunement and needs being met. And I had a lot more understanding for him and compassion for him. He's no longer with us, and I really understand him better than I ever have because of the work that I do. When they can't do any of those things, they can't attune to you, and they can't resolve conflict or regulate their emotions. This means he becomes overstimulated very easily. This was my father, 0 to 100 in a split second. A normal conversation can overwhelm him. Disagreement feels like betrayal. A boundary feels like disrespect. I mean, I never got to say no. That was my one little boundary, but I never got to say it. I was reprimanded for that, and worse sometimes. And that overstimulation comes out as yelling, shaming, blaming, sulking, silent treatment. So as a child, you learned the art of walking on eggshells. Your nervous system was shaped around predicting his mood. Absolutely. Children of narcissistic fathers grow up hearing things like, nothing is ever good enough for you, or after everything I've done for you, you're ungrateful, you're difficult, just like your mother. Everyone here is against me. I guess I'm just a horrible father. These phrases are emotional manipulation designed to create guilt, create dependency, and silence your needs. In his world, his children are not individuals. They are extensions of him. This is why he demands perfection. This is why he gives tough love instead of real love. Your achievements were never celebrated for your growth. They were used to repair his own shame and inadequacy. I remember when I was a model, my father never came to any of my shows or said anything about my career. But one day I went to see him, and I got to the event before him and met his friends, and they were like, "Oh, you're his daughter. He's so proud of you. He tells us all about you and your travels and everything." But none of that was ever conveyed to me because it was his boast. So children quickly learn that he sets the emotional tone of the entire home. If he's happy, everyone relaxes. If he's angry, the house goes silent. This creates hypervigilance. That's me. A survival mechanism where you constantly scan for changes in mood, tone, or behavior. You become the emotional thermometer and sometimes the scapegoat, that was me, for the family. You learn to sense danger before it arrives. You'll learn to monitor yourself so you do not trigger him. I stayed so quiet and really dumbed myself down. This is not sensitivity. This is survival. I'm also a highly sensitive person, so that made it even more profound. When you grow up with a narcissistic father, you carry an invisible wound into adulthood. This wound often looks like low self-worth, feeling like a burden, the belief that you must perform for love, people-pleasing, chronically choosing immature or emotionally unavailable partners. Here I am. Repressed anger or explosive anger, anxiety or depression, fear of being perceived or judged, a tendency to fix or rescue others, confusion around your own needs. All of these. Difficulty asserting boundaries. Your nervous system learned early that love comes with conditions, that affection must be earned, that your feelings are too much, that your presence creates stress. None of this is true. None of it. But it became the lens through which you learn to relate to the world. If this sounds like your childhood, I want you to hear this very, very clearly. You were never too much. You were never the problem. Your needs were not unreasonable. You were raised by a man who did not have the emotional tools to be a father, and you adapted in ways that kept you safe. The father wound is real, but it is also healable. You are not alone. There's me and millions of others out there. You are not broken, and you can rebuild a life where love does not hurt. If this resonates, stay with me on this channel for deeper support, guidance, and tools to help you heal. Your healing starts with understanding, and today you just took that first step. So all that remains for me to say is thank you very much for watching and listening to my video today, and please stay safe. I'll see you very soon.